How's it going, you awesome bunch of bakers? I hope you're having a great day so far. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have another sweet treat recipe for you. We're gonna make some baked cheesecakes in a couple of flavors. So let's go to the kitchen and check them out. I have to thank my friend Lan for another awesome recipe idea. Her treats are always very popular. We have Oreo and Biscoff cheesecakes. They are extremely easy to make and will definitely be a crowd pleaser. For the Oreo, we have an Oreo biscuit base, an Oreo flavored filling topped with a chocolate ganache and some crushed Oreo biscuits. When it comes to the Biscoff version, we have a crushed Biscoff biscuit base, a Biscoff flavored cheesecake layer, which is topped with Biscoff spread, and some more crushed Biscoff biscuits. And you definitely don't need to use Oreos or Biscoff. As long as you stick to the same principles, you can make this any flavor that you like. So let's get right to it. Let me show you how it's done before you can make yours. Starting with the ingredients. For the Oreo version, we'll need some Oreo biscuits, butter, sweetened condensed milk, double cream, vanilla paste or vanilla syrup or vanilla essence, a couple of eggs, some cream cheese and some chocolate. And that's all there is to it. Only 8 ingredients to make this delicious treat. Let's have a look at what we'll need for the Biscoff version. Of course we'll need the biscuits and we'll also need the Biscoff spread. And the rest is pretty much the same as for the Oreo version, except that we don't need double cream for this one. So it's butter, cream cheese, some condensed milk, couple of eggs and vanilla. When it comes to the equipment, we don't need much either. A bowl for mixing, scales, a whisk and a spatula. We will need something to crush the biscuits with. I'm going to use the Ziploc bag and rolling pin trick. A food processor would be the best tool for this job. If you have one, use it. But the bag and the rolling pin will work too. For baking this sweet treat, I'm going to be once again using my Lloyds Pans pizza pan. This thing is perfect for these kind of projects. Just for reference, it measures at around 21 centimeters or 8.5 inches long, 16 centimeters or 6.5 inches wide, and about 5 centimeters or 2 inches deep. Adjust the recipe to fit your tray. Make sure you line your baking tin with some non-stick baking paper. Cut it out so it's about 2 inches or 5 centimeters wider on all sides, then give it some diagonal cuts from the corners to make it fit. This is one of those quick recipes where the first step is preheating the oven, so switch it on to 160 degrees Celsius, 320 Fahrenheit, fan off. We're gonna bake this low and slow. Let's start by making the biscuit base, and for that we need to crush the biscuits. So put them in a sturdy Ziploc bag, smash them up by hand at first, and then continue with the rolling pin. You could also use 2 large sheets of baking paper, but the bag is slightly less messy. It does need to be a nice and sturdy bag, otherwise it may break. But as I mentioned previously, if you have a food processor, use it. My biscuits did not turn out as crumbly as I wanted them to be. Of course that's not the end of the world, the recipe will still work. Okay, after you've crushed your biscuits, mix them with the melted butter. If you are using a food processor, pour the butter straight into the food processor and then let it run for a bit longer. But if you are doing it by hand, just pour the butter into the biscuit and then mix it up using a spatula. Next, get your non-stick paper lined baking tray, or in my case, 2 trays, and pour the biscuit mix into it. Spread it out and then press it into shape. Another option here would be to make a shortbread base. If you want to do that, you can use my shortbread biscuit recipe for it. You can find it in the same playlist as this video. And then you could flavor the cheesecake layer with some lemon zest, and then maybe top it with some jam. When it comes to a recipe like this, the options are endless. As long as you stick to the same principle: biscuit base, a sweetened cream cheese and egg filling, and an optional topping of your choice. If you are going to make your own biscuit, you will need to bake it before you add the cheesecake layer. Okay, moving on with the recipe. In a large bowl, combine the cream cheese, condensed milk, eggs and vanilla. Whisk until smooth. Right now I'm making the Oreo version, so I'm gonna add some crushed Oreo biscuits to this mix. Again, this is not necessary, you can leave them out if you want, but whatever you do. Once it's all mixed up, pour the cream cheese filling over the biscuit in the tray. And that's how easy it is to prepare this cheesecake. It took no more than 5 minutes. Okay, let's set this aside and quickly do the other one. And the method here is the same. The only difference in ingredients is that I've swapped some of the condensed milk with Biscoff spread. And of course, instead of Oreos, we'll be adding crushed Biscoff biscuits to this one. But the steps are the same. Whisk all the wet ingredients until smooth, and then whisk any additional ingredients at the end. What I found funny is that this mix turned out a lot thicker than the Oreo one. Not exactly sure why, maybe the Biscoff spread made it so. But anyway, after baking, the texture of both of them will be the same. The main difference here was that when I poured the mix over the biscuit, I had to pick the tray up and swirl it around a bit to make the mix get into all the corners. Okay, the cheesecakes are ready for the oven. The trays are pretty small, but it will still take about 40 minutes to fully bake. So if you're going to double the recipe and perhaps bake in a larger tray, it may take you slightly longer. If you're ever unsure of the doneness of your cheesecake, take its temperature. If it reads above 80 degrees Celsius or 175 degrees Fahrenheit, it's ready. This is a low temperature bake, so don't expect a lot of color here. After the cheesecakes come out of the oven, leave them to cool down for around 15 minutes before moving on to the next step. And I'll be making the toppings for them. We'll start by making the chocolate ganache for the Oreo version. The principle is extremely simple. All we need to do is boil some double cream and then mix it with chocolate. You can boil it in a pan, I just use my microwave. As soon as it starts bubbling, it is ready. Add the chocolate and then mix until smooth. It must be the simplest thing you could make using chocolate. All we need to do now is pour it over the cheesecake and then spread it out in an even layer. To do that, pick the tray up and swirl it around. I'm going to top this with some more crushed Oreo biscuits. And again, you can make it the way you like it. Swap the Oreos for some other sprinkles, or just leave it plain. The chocolate ganache is good enough on its own. I simply wanted to use up all the biscuits that I bought. When it comes to the biscoff layer, it is even easier to prepare than the ganache, because it's only one ingredient. Warm it up until it's runny, and then it's ready to be used. Again, I did it in the microwave, but you can use a pot. You don't need to boil it, it just needs to be warm enough so you can pour it. And the method again is the same. Pour it over the cheesecake, swirl it around so it gets into all the corners, and finally top with some crushed biscuits, if that is something you want to do. Okay, before we can cut into these bad boys, we need to chill them down properly. The best thing to do probably would be to make it in the evening, and then leave to chill in the fridge overnight. You don't want to be cutting warm cheesecake, you will destroy it, trust me. Okay, it is the next day. These bad boys have been in the fridge for at least 16 hours. I'm going to remove them from the tray, then use my serrated knife to first trim off the edges, then cut them into pieces. Wipe the knife between cuts to avoid making a mess like I did there in the middle. You could easily cut each cheesecake into 24 pieces. I only cut them into 12 because I prefer a chunkier piece. But there you have it, that's how you make a very simple baked cheesecake. Using ready-made biscuits is the way to go if you want to keep it simple. You can literally go to the shop, pick any biscuit from the shelf and make a cheesecake with it. When it comes to the toppings, you can also use some pre-made stuff. Jam, caramel sauce, Nutella, peanut butter. There is no right or wrong. It's all up to your taste. As long as you follow the method and keep the same ratios of ingredients, it will work. Don't forget that you can post pictures of your cheesecakes or any other bakes on our Flickr group. You'll find a link below the video or in the pinned comment in the comments section. And don't forget to visit my friends at breadbakingathome.com. It's quite a new site, but it's already full of great bread making information. So what do you think of these recipes? And what is your favorite cheesecake? Let me know down in the comments. You want to see more videos like this one? Click over here. Subscribe to the channel, click right here. That's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.